Between the change of seasons, holiday stressing, and that nip in the air, we're bound to get sick and slow down this time of year. But there are ways to take care of our bodies and minds to help ward off the winter woes. Dr. Victoria Dooley is here with tips. Hi, Dr. Dooley. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Alex. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And so now when it comes to this time of year, obviously we're thinking about not getting sick. So is there any way to prevent it, or is it actually inevitable?
Well, there are certain tips that you can follow to decrease the likelihood that you're going to get sick. You want to practice good hand hygiene, wash your hands, use some hand sanitizer, and you should always eat healthy, exercise, and get enough sleep, because if you're sleep deprived, that actually weakens your immune system. But with this cold air, frequent travel, coworkers coming around and then being sick, no matter what we do, it is inevitable that some of us are going to still get sick. And so I wanted to talk to you today about some common ailments that I see this time of year, and you may be surprised by some of them being common during some of these colder months.
So what are those common ailments? Because I mean, we hear about flu, the cold, but what else are we seeing?
Right, where most of us are familiar with coughs, colds, and flu, and I do recommend you talking to your doctor about both the flu and pneumonia vaccines and seeing if you're eligible. And although we're all aware that we should be eating healthy and exercising all year round, a lot of us aren't during the colder season. So I recommend you talk to your doctor to see if they think you should take any supplements, like maybe a multivitamin, vitamin D, calcium, vitamin C, or for joint health specifically, because with these weather changes and rain, I commonly get people complaining about joint aches and pains. I recommend asking about Tamiflex. Tamiflex is a potent botanical blend that is proven to promote joint health. It's a combination of two herbal, natural botanicals, both turmeric and tamarind seeds. It is non-GMO and contains absolutely no artificial colors or flavors. But also during this season, we're going to be more likely partaking in some unhealthy dietary practices, maybe eating too little fiber, partaking in a little bit too much alcohol, and sitting for prolonged periods of time, which all can lead to GI issues like constipation and straining, which can cause hemorrhoid flares. And hemorrhoids are extremely common. 75% of Americans are going to experience hemorrhoids at some point in their lives. So I recommend keeping Preparation H at home, which is the #1 doctor recommended OTC hemorrhoid brand. It comes in creams, ointments, and these very convenient totables, which are perfect for when you're on the go and to carry with you when you're traveling, so you won't have to be uncomfortable when you're traveling if you did not have these with you while you're on the road.
So now I have a huge family, a lot of younger siblings. So what are some things that we can look out for kids?
Yes. Well, when kids are indoors more, which they are when it's cold outside, they're going to be passing germs back and forth. But not only that, they can also spread head lice with direct head-to-head contact. And this is not just a back-to-school issue. Head lice are an issue all year round. But fortunately, One Cure by Lice Clinics of America offers an at-home solution. It is a non-toxic, FDA-cleared, heated air device that is going to dehydrate and kill both the lice and their eggs at one simple at-home treatment.
Now, this is a lot of great and helpful information. So where can our viewers go to learn more?
For more helpful tips, I recommend you follow me at Dr. Dooley, MD.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A special thanks to GNC and Preparation H and Lice Clinics of America for sponsoring that segment.